Let me tell you something that most people will never dare to do: disappearing. Not running away, not hiding out of fear, but disappearing with purpose. You see, the average person clings to attention like it's oxygen. They crave validation, likes, and constant approval. But you're not average. You're here because you sense something deeper inside you, a hunger to transform. If you don't want to change, stop this video right now. Seriously, close it. Go back to your comfortable routine, scroll through social media, and pretend everything's fine. But if you're ready to break your patterns, to watch how people's minds collapse when you pull your energy away, then stay. I've done this myself. I disappeared when everyone expected me to be available. I cut the noise, went silent, and something powerful happened. They started wondering, panicking, overthinking, because silence drives people insane. Let me show you the 11 dark psychological reasons why disappearing makes you powerful beyond belief. Number 1, silence creates mystery. Let me tell you something powerful. Silence is not weakness. It's strategy. When you stop talking, when you stop explaining, when you just go quiet for a while, that's when everything starts to shift. At first, it feels strange. You want to text. You want to explain why you pulled away. But if you resist that urge and simply disappear into silence, you'll notice something. People start to lose their balance. Their minds begin racing. They start replaying old conversations, scanning their messages, trying to find the moment where things changed. They wonder, did I mess up? Are they mad at me? Did I lose them? And all the while, you say nothing. You let their own thoughts do the work. You see, silence makes people face themselves. It forces them to confront the parts of their behavior they usually ignore. When you stop reacting, you hand them a mirror, and most people can't handle what they see. That's the beauty of mystery. You don't need to explain who you are or prove your value. When you disappear, people suddenly remember everything they took for granted. Your silence becomes their lesson. Your absence becomes their nightmare. And when they finally realize how peaceful life was when you were around, it's too late. That's the power of silence. You don't have to say a single word to be unforgettable. Number 2, distance makes you valuable. When you're always there, always replying, always helping, always showing up, people start to think that's who you'll always be. They stop appreciating you because they've never had to imagine life without you. But the day you disappear, everything changes. They wake up and something feels off. The messages are quieter, the energy's different. Suddenly, the attention they used to take for granted feels like something rare. That's the psychology of distance. It flips the script. People only realize your worth when they can't reach you anymore. It's like air. Nobody notices it until it's gone. And when it's gone, they'll do anything to have it back. When you pull back, it creates a gap. And that gap becomes a space where they finally start to feel your absence. They start remembering how your presence made their days lighter, how your support made them stronger, how your attention made them feel seen. So stop chasing, stop explaining, stop showing up for people who treat your presence like it's guaranteed. Let them feel the emptiness. Let them learn that access to you is a privilege, not a right. Distance doesn't make people forget you. It makes them see your value clearly, sometimes for the very first time. Number 3, your absence builds power. When you pull away, you stop giving people control over your story. You stop letting them decide how they see you. You take back the steering wheel. Most people think power comes from being loud, visible, and present. But real power comes from withholding. When you disappear, people start to wonder. They start to fill in the blanks. Their imagination runs wild, and that's where your strength grows, in the mystery they can't decode. They start asking, what's going on in their life? Did they move on? Did they level up? You become unpredictable. You become the one they can't figure out. And that, my friend, is how influence is built. The less people know about you, the more they think about you. Your silence makes them talk. Your absence makes them curious. And curiosity, when it comes to human psychology, is the seed of obsession. You're no longer someone they can control. You're someone they have to wonder about. That's psychological dominance, not through manipulation, not through arguments, but through mystery. When you disappear, you take back your energy. You shift from just another person to the one that got away. And when you return, If you return, you come back stronger, calmer, and far more powerful than before. Number 4, solitude rebuilds your mind. When you step away from everyone for a while, something inside you begins to change. At first, the silence feels heavy. You might feel alone, disconnected, even a little lost. But stay with it. Don't run from it, because that silence is where your transformation begins. When you're surrounded by people all the time, it's easy to lose yourself. You start absorbing their opinions, their moods, their expectations. You forget who you are beneath all that noise. But when you finally go quiet, when it's just you, your thoughts, and your space, you begin to hear something you haven't heard in a long time, your own voice. You start realizing what truly matters to you. You remember what peace feels like. You stop trying to impress, prove, or chase. In solitude, you rebuild your mind brick by brick. You let go of fake friends, forced conversations, and draining situations. You learn to enjoy your own company, not because you're antisocial, but because you finally found peace in being yourself. That's what solitude gives you: clarity. You stop being reactive and start being intentional. You stop living for others and start creating for yourself. It's in those quiet nights alone that your confidence returns. It's in those slow mornings by yourself that your mind resets. Don't fear solitude. Embrace it, because that's where the strongest version of you is waiting to be found. Number 5, you force people to respect your energy. Here's a truth most people don't want to hear. If you keep giving your time and attention to everyone, no one will ever value it. When you pull back, people start to realize something they ignored for a long time. Your energy was powerful. Your presence was healing. The way you cared, listened, and understood wasn't normal. It was rare, but they only see it once it's gone. Now, when they try to reach out and you don't reply right away, they feel that silence hit differently. They start missing the version of you that gave without limits, and they realize they'll never find that kind of energy again. Your absence teaches them what your presence used to mean. They start to respect your boundaries, your time, your peace, because now they know you're not afraid to walk away when things stop serving you. And that's the ultimate power move. You don't have to argue or explain. You just disappear, rebuild, and come back untouchable. People will learn to approach you with more care, more respect, and more intention, because deep down, they'll remember how it felt when you were gone, and they'll never want to lose that energy again. You didn't change. You just stopped pouring into people who were draining you. And that's how you shift from being taken for granted to being truly respected. Number 6, you confuse the manipulators. Manipulators feed on one thing: reaction. They want you to respond, defend yourself, explain your feelings. Because the moment you react, they know they've got you under control. They study your emotions like a map, learning exactly which buttons to push to make you angry, jealous, or desperate. But when you disappear, when you go silent and vanish from their game, you destroy their power completely. They can't read you anymore. They can't predict your moves. They can't use your emotions against you because you've taken them out of the equation. And that's when they start to panic. They send little tests, a random message, a social media story, a rumor, anything to see if you'll react. But you don't. You stay silent. And that silence, it drives them insane. You've flipped the dynamic. They're the ones now overthinking, overanalyzing, trying to figure you out. That's how manipulators collapse. Not through confrontation, but through confusion. You don't need to expose them. You just stop feeding them, because when you stop reacting, their manipulation starves to death. Number 7, you observe without being seen. When you step back from everyone for a while, something incredible happens. You start to see everything clearly. As long as you're in the middle of everything, emotions blur your vision. But when you disappear, you gain perspective. You see who actually misses you and who only misses what you did for them. You notice who checks on you quietly and who forgets you completely. You realize who loved your presence and who only loved your usefulness. It's painful at first, because truth usually is, but it's also freeing. Distance has a way of revealing people's true intentions. When you stop calling, some people will never reach out again. And that tells you everything you need to know. No drama, no arguments, no explanations, just silence, and the truth naturally reveals itself. You start to observe the world differently. You understand people's patterns. You become the one watching, not the one being watched. That's a position of power, to know but not be known, to see everything but say nothing. That's how you win quietly, by stepping back and letting people expose themselves. Number 8, disappearing increases desire. There's a strange psychological truth most people don't realize. The less people see you, the more they think about you. Scarcity creates desire. When something becomes rare, it instantly becomes more valuable. When you were always around, always texting, always available, people got comfortable. They thought your presence was endless. But when you disappear, your energy suddenly becomes exclusive. They start wondering what you're up to, who you're with, what you're thinking. Their curiosity slowly turns into craving. That's how attraction is built, not by chasing, but by withdrawing. When you stop giving your attention freely, it becomes a luxury, and people chase what they can't easily have. It's human nature. We want what's hard to reach. We desire what we can't control. And when you disappear, you become both hard to reach and impossible to control. Don't be afraid to vanish. Let people feel what life is like without your energy, because once they do, they'll never take it lightly again. Number 9, you rebuild yourself in private. Disappearing isn't about running away. It's about realignment. It's about stepping away from the noise long enough to rebuild yourself from the inside out. While everyone else is busy performing for the world, posting, comparing, pretending, you're in the shadows, working silently. You're healing, learning, improving, upgrading. You're figuring out who you are without the opinions, without the pressure, without the fake validation. You become sharper. You become calmer. You start walking with a quiet confidence that doesn't need to prove anything. And then one day, you return. Not as the same version they once knew, but as someone transformed. Someone with new energy, new boundaries, and new standards. They look at you and can't quite explain it, but they feel it. Your presence is different. Your silence changed you. That's real power. Because growth that happens in private is the kind of growth that can't be undone. So disappear. Not to escape, but to rebuild. When you come back, you'll be unrecognizable and unstoppable. Number 10, you break the dependency cycle. Let's be real. Most people live in quiet, emotional dependence. They need someone to text them, validate them, or make them feel seen just to feel okay. They depend on others for stability. But when you disappear, you break that pattern. You learn how to sit with your thoughts without needing someone else's approval. You stop waiting for messages, for likes, for attention. You start giving yourself the love and validation you once begged others for. That's how independence is built, not in comfort, but in solitude. You start realizing you don't need anyone to tell you your worth. You don't need anyone to make you feel important. You can do that yourself. Once you taste that kind of peace, the peace of not needing anyone to feel enough, you become mentally untouchable. No one can manipulate you with silence because you've already mastered it. No one can control you with attention because you no longer crave it. You've broken the chain that keeps most people trapped, and now you move differently, calm, confident, and completely in control. Number 11, you earn unshakable respect. When you finally come back after disappearing, people don't treat you the same. They talk softer. They think before they speak. They act differently around you. Because deep down, they remember. You're not afraid to walk away. That's the highest level of respect. Not the kind you demand with words, but the kind that silence commands naturally. They know now that you're not desperate for attention. You're not chasing validation. You can vanish anytime without warning, without explanation, and that unpredictability keeps them grounded. They realize they can't play games with you because you won't participate. They can't manipulate you because you'll just disappear again. You've shifted the power dynamic forever. Now your silence speaks louder than any argument. Your presence feels rare, your absence unforgettable. And that's when you finally understand something deep. Respect isn't earned by how loud you are. It's earned by how easily you can walk away. Now tell me, are you still afraid to disappear? Or do you finally understand that silence isn't weakness, it's strategy? The world is loud, but only those who master silence master power. So if you're ready to rise above average minds and walk into your transformation, this is your place. Because here, we don't follow the crowd. We study it. We don't chase attention. We control it. Subscribe to this channel if you're ready to disappear, rebuild, and return stronger than ever. Your transformation begins the moment you stop explaining yourself and start disappearing with purpose.